I love it. It's always so abrupt. Oh, hello everybody, and thanks for watching the Rewatchers Council. Nice to be back, Adelia. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Snark. How are you?
Oh, I'm just fine. You know, I'm a little misplaced here, within the confines of Snark Corp Tower. I'm right at the very
Mhm.
top, where all the decisions are made. If you know what I mean. Yes. Temporarily, you know, a little out of place, but that's fine. Okay, now we got to talk Inca Mummy Girl, Adelia.
Yeah.
Season 2, episode 3. Inca Mummy Girl. Not one of the classics. I will say this one
No.
will not be considered one that people look back fondly. Although I was super stoked for the two characters that show up in this episode.
hmm
Uh, I will say the one is 100% spoiled by our thumbnail, but that's fine. Okay, back to the regular business here. Its original air date, Adelia, October 6th, 1997.
hmm
Now, see if this makes you feel if this jogs your memory a little bit. But it was written by Matt Keane and Joe Rakemeyer. They also wrote The Pack. The Pack.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
That kind of makes sense.
yeah, there's a few things that are quite similar, and it's directed by Ellen S. Pressman. She also directed The Puppet Show. Let's see, number one movie that week, Kiss the Girls. Remember that one?
No.
Unless that one was Morgan Freeman, and I think maybe a Judd was in it or something like that. I
Oh,
think it was
probably Ashley Judd.
yeah, and then it was a I know it was the first movie about some famous detective author's movies, but I can't remember what the guy's name is. I never read the books. Not a book guy. I was watching TV back in the day. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Preparing for this show. Now, the number one song in the US, a song that I did not remember at all. And it went to number one. A bunch of their songs went to number one. Four Seasons of Loneliness by Boys to Men. You
I don't
remember that one
remember
at
that
all?
song either.
Somehow that one gets
Boys
number
to
one.
Men. Obviously I remember Boys to Men, but I do not remember Four Seasons of Loneliness.
They were smooth. They were smooth. They got things done. They put songs to number one that nobody's ever even heard. And they said, oh, it's still number one song. Okay, good for them. I know End of the Road, still think of a couple times about God knows that song. Anyways, number one song in the UK, guess what? Yeah, Count on the Wind 97. There you
Yeah.
go. It's going to be there for a bit. Now,
Yeah.
the DVD synopsis, Adelia. Oh my goodness. A beautiful Inca princess who was buried alive in a tomb 500 years ago is accidentally brought back to life in the Sunnydale Natural History Museum. All right. So, I don't know if it's a accident. I don't think it was an accident that she was brought back
It
to life. I think
it definitely didn't seem like an accident.
no. I think she was like she's been laying in wait. This is her trap. It only took 500 years to spring. Now, uh, now I say it's very similar because of the pack because it starts out once again, Adelia, on a field trip.
hmm
Another field trip for the Sunnydale High School. High school field trips. Unbelievable. This time they're at the Natural History Museum in Sunnydale. Remember, Sunnydale is a two Starbucks town or whatever they called it in the first episode. It has a natural history museum. It has a zoo. It has multiple underage drinking facilities.
This town seems much bigger than it actually is.
Yeah, it's one of those metropolis towns, I think. Anyways,
Yeah.
also, lucky us, not only do we get a field trip, but also a dance. Another of the
Another
hundreds of
dance.
dances. Yeah, the hundreds of dances they have. And guess where it
I
is?
I
It's
can
not at the
at the Bronze.
yeah,
The
it's
dances at the Bronze. I can
mhm.
understand why there's a dance with the exchange students because we had this thing at my high school called Cultural Heritage Week
Sure.
where um we would have exchange students in for a couple of weeks and at the end of it all there would be a dance. So that I at least I understood a little bit why there was a dance this time.
When your exchange students would come for a couple weeks, did they bring multiple bags and trunks and large
No,
trunks with them?
definitely not. No.
What is happening here? What is going on?
Yeah.
Anyways, let's get on with it. Yeah, Corey's pretty excited for her little foreign exchange student. You never. So, did you ever have a foreign exchange student?
No,
Like,
we never housed a foreign exchange student, but,
we
I knew several of them when they were at the school.
uh, my friends would host exchange students. They'd be down for the whole year and stuff like that. Though they wouldn't be like for a couple nights.
Yeah.
Like, they'd live at the house for a year. And I know that Tanya, like my wife, was on exchange student. But when I say foreign exchange for her, she went to Quebec, which is which is kind of foreign. Except
Kinda.
same country. Anyways, yes, Cordy is pretty excited for her Swedish exchange student. Buffy turns out she's getting an exchange student as well, but hers is a guy, a South American guy. Xander was not very happy about. I was wondering why it would be okay with Joyce that there would be a South American guy living in her house, but well, whatever.
I I sort of feel like with the exchange student thing, you just signed up to host an exchange student, and then they just placed someone in your house, and you didn't get much say in it.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I don't know why then Xander was also so worried about it, but anyways. So
Xander still has a thing for Buffy, let's
of
be real.
course he does. Of course he does. Well, let's see for how much longer. Let's see for how much
Yeah.
longer. You have such good taste in women. Now, we meet a new student, one that of course Willow had already known, and of course Xander had known because it was his bully for quite some time. It seems 5 years, I think he said. Rodney
Yeah.
Munson. Now he's played by Clayne Crawford. Do you recognize this person at all?
No.
No, okay. I threw in because of our young friend Ferris. He was on NCIS New Orleans. He was on
Okay.
CSI New York. But he was Martin Riggs in that Lethal Weapon TV show.
Oh, okay.
Right. That's where I guess people would know him from. I never watched a single second of that show,
I
but
didn't either.
I guess it was semi popular at the time. And I think that he got in a little bit of trouble while he was on the show, too. So, well, congratulations, Clean, on both your name, which is quite interesting. And he had a little niche for himself, I guess, at some point. Good for him.
Mhm.
Anyways, uh, yeah, so Xander gets bullied by this kid for 5 years. Both his friends, Willow and Buffy, think that is very amusing. They think it's adorable
Yeah.
that this guy beat up Xander for 5 years straight.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. Yet another one is Willow's study buddies. So they the tour guide comes in, the museum tour guide, and very dramatically tells them that a human sacrifice is about to begin. You would think in that town, you just watch how you say those things a little more
Yeah,
carefully.
I'd rephrase that.
Yeah. So now we get to see the corpse of an Incan princess. They get princesses by choosing them. They choose their princesses. It's a lot like a sci-fi thing that we watched, I'm sure, where they elect a princess, which makes no sense. Makes no sense
Yeah.
at all to me. Anyways, this mummy has a cursed plate protecting it, which seems safe. Buffy tells Xander her exchange student's named Ampada, and he'll be at the Sunnydale bus depot tomorrow. That's important that she says that. We'll find out why in a minute. Yeah, Xander says, "Oh, the Sunnydale bus depot, classy. What a better way to introduce someone to our country than with the stench of urine, Adelia."
Mhm. I
So they
mean,
got a
that
large.
sounds like a bus station to me.
They have an unclean bus station. They got a zoo. They've got, you know,
Yeah.
natural history museum. Sounds like a
Yeah.
city to me. Anyways,
It does.
uh, everybody now leaves the Natural History Museum, except Rodney, of course. He's a ne'er do well, Adelia. For some
Yeah.
reason, he and when we first see him, he's like flaking the paint off of those Inca things, and everybody's just fine with it. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
Rodney just being
No, no,
Rodney.
no teachers are accompanying them on this field trip apparently to be like, "Hey, don't do that." No museum employees are like, "Hey, don't do that."
The teachers go to the bronze during the day.
I guess.
It's been run over by kids at night. They have to drink sometime, so they drink during the day. Yeah, he's trying to grab the plate, but as he's grabbing it, for some reason he really yanks on this dead corpse's hands and breaks the plate. And when he reaches in to grab it, two shriveled hands grab him by the throat, which is a constant thing in this show. And
Mhm.
then the princess opened her missing eyes. How much of a fan were you of that?
I was not.
He-
That
I
that's
saw
gonna
that.
haunt my nightmares for a while.
I saw that scene. It's like, oh, Adelia's not going to like that. She isn't going to like
No.
that at all. All right. Now we go back to the school. Buffy's training. It looks like Giles isn't going to let her go to the dance again. Giles is as bad as the wicked stepmother in Cinderella. I tell you that. So she starts training a little harder, and then he allows her because he doesn't want to get beaten up. So Buffy and Xander talk about Willow and Xander. And just as Willow, of course, is walking in, the old trope, and
Yeah.
overhears Xander saying, "Oh, she's my best friend," and stuff like that. No more than that. And then, oh, you see, sad Willow, which no one ever wants to see. So she
No one
goes
ever
up and
wants
tells
to
him,
see sad Willow.
no, she goes up, tells him Rodney's missing, and then they start joking around about what happened to him, and then they get it exactly. So there you go.
Yep.
They go back to the museum. See, the mummy is still there. They start examining part of the broken plate, and then a swashbuckling Incan jumps in.
Yeah,
Adelia,
I was very confused at the beginning of this.
I
I was
was
like, "Where did this guy come from? Why does he have a knife? Why is he just like an Errol
pirate.
Flynn
Yeah,
character?"
he looks like a pirate. It's like this
Yeah.
is not this. Yeah, he's from the modern day. You can give him
And
a modern day outfit. It's not hard.
that actor that played him, is he not
Hmm.
like the guy that plays Jacob's dad in Twilight? I feel like he is. I need to
His
look
name
this
is
up.
his name is Gil Birmingham.
Then
Adelia,
he is,
and
yes.
and he 100% was, and he was also in Castle and Yellowstone, just for Ferris. So there you go. Yes, Gil Birmingham, swashbuckling. So he looks in the sarcophagus though, and takes off. So that was a little odd. The gang are about
Yeah.
to leave, but Willow notices. She says to Giles if the Incans were very advanced, and did they have orthodontists? Because this guy has braces. Something I didn't notice on Rodney at all.
I
But
didn't either.
uh, one thing you'll notice about this episode, there are a lot of holes. There are
Yeah,
a
there's a lot of
lot of holes.
inconsistencies.
Yes. Anyways, they go back to the library. Giles starts deciphering the, I don't know if they're called hieroglyphs or something, maybe
I
the
think he called them
Incan
pictograms.
Yeah, that always seems odd, but sure, pictograms. Buffy has to pick up Impada though. She forgot him again. Buffy being Buffy. So next we see, or rather hear, a woman call to Impada, and he follows the voice around a bus, and then is kissed by a disgusting dried up old mummy who seems to be
Mhm.
sucking the life out of him. Adelia, what a way
Yep.
to go. Anyways, gang shows up 40 minutes late. Buffy's calling for Impada, but instead of a young man, a young lady answers Adelia. And I think
Yeah.
Xander likes her, by the way. And then she tells
Yeah,
them,
Xander very happy with the fact that
yeah,
Pada is
yeah,
a woman at this point.
yeah. Willow did not seem as happy. Anyways,
No.
this she tells him that, oh, I'm Impada. And now she's played by a lady named Araceli. She was in American Beauty and Bruce Almighty. She was in that Queen of the South show on Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and she was also in Machete. Machete, one of my all-time
Mm.
favorites. So, for a 500-year-old Incan mummy, I thought she spoke English very well. And I
Yes,
guess, I
very
guess she
well.
said she picked it up while touring, or whatever she'll say later on.
I guess listening to everyone around her
That'd be how hellacious would that be? Having to stay
would
in
be
that thing and
awful.
listening to everybody say, "How look at it, that dirty, dried up old mummy all the time." I would hate it.
Yeah.
That, especially if could you imagine if I saw that mummy? Oh my gosh, the things I'd say. Anyways, yes. So Xander, starts talking like a dummy. Sees how Buffy asks her what her home is like, and Pata says it's cramped and very dead. So it's like, oh, okay, it's a little on the nose, isn't it? Gee whiz. Buffy says
Just a
she'll
little.
feel right. Yeah, Buffy says she'll feel right at home in Sunnydale. Again, Sunnydale, home of all the things we've mentioned before. Anyways, and Pata tells Buffy she just wants to fit in and have a normal life, just like Buffy, which is,
Mhm.
all right. Buffy turns out the light. We see the Incan man again. So Cordy's talking to that a new guy named Devin, Adelia. And to tell you the truth, I had forgotten this was this episode. So when I saw Devin, I
Yeah.
got very excited. So Devin's played by Jason Hall, CSI Miami without trace, American Sniper, and he wrote and directed Thank You for Your Service. Remember that one?
Okay.
But the soldiers coming home with PTSD and stuff like that. The guy
Mhm.
was Reed Richards for that bad Fantastic Four movie. Yes. And he's also in Top Gun. I can't remember his name. Anyways, turns out Devin's in a band. Also, it doesn't look like Cordy's exchange student worked out quite as well as she thought. He seems to be
No.
a large mute for some reason.
Yeah.
Anyways, turns out Devin's band, Adelia, Dingoes Ate My Baby.
Dingoes Ate My Baby. I was very excited when I saw our next special introduction.
Yes.
I was like, "Oh, okay, he's the lead singer of that band. Okay, I get it
Yes.
now."
It's the second mention of Dingoes Ate My Baby. It was in the unaired pilot. So I guess it doesn't really count. But yes, so next we meet his bandmate Oz, played of course by Seth Green, with that ridiculous
I
goatee.
forgot
he
about
had.
the facial hair.
Yeah. Yeah, it was uncomfortable to look at actually. Doesn't look like. Yeah, I don't think I have to talk about Seth Green very much on this show.
No,
Everyone
no,
knows
you
him.
shouldn't have
Everyone
to.
knows.
Everyone knows who Seth Green is, and if you
Everyone,
don't, how
yeah.
do you not know who Seth Green is?
So get it together, guys. Get it together. Anyways, Oz isn't interested in Cordelia. His tastes are a little different
Mhm.
than that Cordelia, which is nice. So it turns out the dance is also a costume party celebrating different cultures. This has to go well, right? This
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
this is exactly the thing that we can do these days. So
No.
Willow's Willow's ready for this thing. Xander seems a little panicky. Willow wonders why he's suddenly worried about looking like an idiot. Delia, which has got hurt, even if they're friends. Buffy brings Apata to meet Giles. He asks if she can translate the plate, which I think, come on,
I love
just
that that's
because.
like the first thing Giles asks.
Yeah,
Like, "Hello, can
there's
you
a.
translate this, please?"
It's like, oh, you're from somewhere else. You could probably translate this, can't you? It's like everybody, I'm Canadian. I can go to America and they can. It's, oh, do you know Dave? And it's like, yeah, of course I know Dave. Everyone knows Dave in Canada. So, anyways, she tells him that one word means bodyguard and that he guards the mummy against those who would disturb her. Buffy makes an excuse, and Xander volunteers to take him pot around. Willow seems brokenhearted over this, and you never want to see says Willow. We'll say it a million times. And so Xander takes Ampata to the bleachers to ink Twinkies
Yeah.
because,
That seems like such a Xander thing to do.
yeah, diabetes. Diabetes is such a Xander thing.
Yeah.
So back at the library, Buffy's putting the plate pieces back together. Well, Willow has that 1,000-yard stare. She tells Buffy if it's not Ampata, it'll be someone else. She says she can either wait for Xander to be with every other girl in the world before he knows it's her, or she can get on with her life. Delia.
Yeah.
But she hasn't chosen yet, which was I also like that line very much. Giles sees what Buffy's put together and deciphers that Rodney's killer was the mummy. So next we see Xander and Ampata attacked by our swashbuckling friend once again. He tells Xander that he stole the seal, then looks at Ampata. It's you. Now back at the library, Buffy's putting plate pieces back together. Adelia. Willow's got this 1,000-yard stare in her face, and she tells Buffy if it's not Ampata, it'll be somebody else. She says she can either wait for Xander to be with every other girl in the world before he knows it's her, or she can get on with her life, Adelia. But she
That's a good
hasn't
line.
chosen. She hasn't chosen yet, though. She hasn't
Yeah, I love
chosen
that.
yet.
She hasn't chosen yet. It's a good
Yeah.
line.
Yeah. Giles see what Buffy's put together, deciphers that Rodney's killer was the actual mummy. We see Xander and Potta get attacked by the bodyguard, our swashbuckling friend, once again. He tells Xander he stole the seal. Now, Xander stops him from stabbing him with his left hand, mind you, while the guy's coming down on him, easily stops him with his left hand, then throws this guy down a bunch of bleachers. They easily escape, and this guy doesn't go running back after them,
Yeah, I didn't
which I thought
understand
was,
that.
yeah, yeah, it's like, oh, all right. Xander's a quite powerful young man, I suppose. Anyways, at the library, Xander fills everyone in on what's just happened, and Pot is telling them to destroy the seal. And then she runs off. She's very dramatic about this. She tells Xander that their investigation is dangerous, and she says she just wants a normal life, Adelia. Willow shows up, tells Xander that he should take Empata to the dance. Very nice of her. He tells Willow that she's his best friend. She says, "I know." Yeah. You think that's the end of the Willow Xander thing, Adelia? Do you think
I
she's
think
finally ready to let go?
we're getting to that point, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Looks like she's made the choice to me. But Buffy and Giles make a plan to go back to the museum to get the other plague pieces from the bodyguard. But Buffy can't go to the dance now. Uh, once again, Xander asks Empata to the dance. She tells him she likes him. Uh, Xander then asks if she's a praying mantis, which in his case, it's
In his
understandable.
case, it's an understandable question.
Yeah. Ampata then goes to the ladies' room to put on lipstick, Adelia.
Mhm.
She goes to the ladies' room to put lipstick on. And the bodyguard guy creepily rises up behind her. Like he's been waiting in
Yeah,
that bathroom
I
for a
I
while.
I don't understand that at all.
He didn't drop from the ceiling. He didn't like open the door. He just kind
No.
of lifts himself up from the ground.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah. She starts begging for her life. She says she's in love. It's been a day. It's easy to fall in love with
Yeah.
someone after a day. Calls her
Mhm.
the chosen one. We've heard that one before. And says that
Yep.
she has to die. She has no choice. He tries to stab her. And again, this guy just doesn't have a very good stabbing hand because she usually reverses this and then sucks the life out of the poor guy. Then comes
Mhm.
out glammed up. I thought the I thought she looked a little odd actually when she came out, but whatever. She's all glammed up. Accepts Xander's dance invitation. Then they walk off holding hands, Delia.
Yeah.
After a fresh murdering. Now, back at Buffy's, and Pata's bag has finally arrived. She asks Buffy for lipstick, saying she has none. We literally, not 30 seconds before, saw her applying lipstick.
I wonder if that was also Buffy's lipstick.
She's just a lipstick thief. She just has a thing.
Yeah.
She's gone 500 years, and now she's like, all I want is lipstick, guys. This is all. This is all I need to have in my life. She says that Buffy reminds her of the Inca princess, and then Buffy notices how and Pata's clothes are a little more masculine, I guess you would have to say, than she expected.
Yeah.
Then Pata gets a little on the nose when she says that the princess was only 16 when sent to her death. Who knows what she had to give up to fulfill her duty to others? It's like, okay, guys, we get it. Buffy goes to open a very large chest, a trunk, a traveling trunk for someone,
Yeah.
again, who's supposed to be there
For
for
2
2 weeks.
weeks.
Anyway, and of course, it has a mummified body inside. But of course, Willow shows up just as she's opening the trunk, or Xander shows up, I should say, just as she's opening the trunk, so she doesn't notice. And then Pata gets a lock, I guess, somehow, and just locks it up right away. Now, Xander comes in looking like the man with no name for some reason. He says he's from the country of Leone, like Sergio Leone. Asks Buffy if she's from the country of white trash. And, you could say, I won't say it, but you could say. Anyways, Buffy tells Xander her plan. Xander fills Buffy in that this is going to be a date now with lips and all the other things he said. Joy shows up just in time to make Buffy feel bad about not going to this dance. And of course,
Yeah.
Buffy. Yeah, there's one thing Joyce is good for is belittling her own daughter. Uh, yes, Buffy is getting a little suspicious of Empata. I don't know why. I don't think she's really had a reason to yet. I think that wasn't earned. Anyways, at the Bronze, it's our first time getting to see a
Well,
live
I think
performance.
I think at that point, Buffy's a little suspicious based on the clothes in the backpack.
Yeah, but also,
And Empata seems to know a whole lot about this Incan princess.
yes, she knows an awful lot about the Incan princess. That's true. Yes, we get
Well,
to see Dingoes Ate My Baby live.
yes.
Uh, yeah, I'm gonna say this: not the best air banding, uh, by the young man in this group. The way Oz plays the guitar is quite fun to watch, in my opinion. And Devin's dancing is very 90s chic. He could have been in Stone Temple Pilots, 100%. So
Oh yeah.
Willow comes dressed as an Inuit.
Mhm.
Adelia. They don't use that word.
No.
Cordy says, yeah. Cordy comes up there and says, "Oh, close, almost a fashion faux pas. She almost wore the exact same thing." A line that I actually love. Yeah, Willow's looking a little glum. She sees Xander and Pato walk in. She wonders if she should have worn something sexy. Xander says she looks snug. I don't think that Pato was wearing anything sexy. She was wearing a dress, isn't it? I don't know. I don't
Definitely
know.
sexier than what Willow was wearing.
Yeah, one of my favorite scenes coming up or whatever when she says, "Where's Buffy?" and has to move her whole body to turn around and look. I love that scene too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, back to Buffy's, and Giles tells her that the bodyguard's mummified remains were found in the girls' washroom. It took a while. It took a while. I guess not many people use that. It was one of the more out of the way washrooms at the school because he'd been
Maybe.
dead for quite. Yeah, he'd been dead for quite some time.
Yeah.
Giles, yeah. It turns out Giles had read the pictographs wrong, I guess that it's called. It turns out it was the bodyguard's job to make sure the mummy didn't escape. So, he didn't do a very good job. They figure out there
No.
may be more to Ampada. Then Buffy breaks open the trunk and says, "Oh, what kind of girl packs mummified remains and forgets to pack a lipstick?" And again, somehow she had a lipstick before. I don't get it. I still don't get how she had that lipstick at the school. Anyways,
I
back to the
do think it
Bronze
was
and
probably
Pata.
Buffy's.
Yeah, it must have been. She just keeps stealing Buffy's lipsticks. And Pata and Xander are dancing. Devin and Oz have a quiet conversation on stage. They're playing live music.
This was very weird.
They're just calmly talking to each other as I'm talking to you, Adelia. I'm
Yeah.
not raising my voice. I have
No.
played in front of amplifiers before. It is unnerving how loud that can be. There is no simple way to have a calm conversation with each other, even from that distance. It just can't be done. Anyways, yeah, just a little thing to just to irk me again. Anyways, Oz wants to know who the girl in the Eskimo outfit is. Not very nice to say that word. I'm going to tell you that.
No.
But I don't know if they knew any different, especially in America in the 90s. Anyways, I always grew up just
I'm
calling
gonna go
them.
with no.
All right. And Giles and Buffy are hurrying to the Bronze. Buffy tells him he needs a grown-up car and not the Giles Mobile, that 1960s British piece of crap that he drives.
Yeah.
And Pata and Xander keep almost kissing, but then she feels her hands start drying up, and then we hear her hand dry up. It's gross.
Ugh.
Uh, yeah, she runs off, and she finds a young man sitting alone on the stairs. Adelia,
Mhm.
young man in an Australian outfit, I guess. Anyways, back to Jazzmobile. He and Buffy figure out the way to trap her is to reassemble her plate. He'll drop her at the Bronze and go to the museum and put it together. So at the Bronze, Xander's looking for Ampada. Then we see Sven talking, plain English, to one of Cordy's friends, the one who was dressed up as a geisha, and saying,
Yes.
look what I got stuck with. Pimento, fruity, punchy, fruity, drinky. Is Cordelia even from this country? So good. The only line he has.
It's great.
Um, we then see Ampata with the young man in a quiet place. He tells her, "Your hands are kind of rough." Now, those are Jonathan's first words on the show. Jonathan, we'll get to know a lot more of over the coming next few seasons. I think, does he even get to the seventh? I'm not sure. Anyways, he's played by Danny Strong. What a pretty remarkable story for this guy. So Danny Strong started off, I guess he was kept showing up as an extra throughout the first season.
Okay.
So I kept looking for him. Every episode I'd look for him. I couldn't find him. And they eventually say, okay, here's a line for you and stuff like that. I guess everyone became friends with him. So now he does all this stuff for Buffy. And then he goes on to Gilmore Girl and a few other things. But now he's mostly known as writer and producer. He's won 2 Emmys, I think. He did something called Recount. I think that was about the 2001 election. He just did Dope Sick. I don't know if he was a producer on it or that he wrote, but Rocking Mockingbird, the Hunger Games, he did 1 and 2 of that. So
Okay.
Empire is another show of his. So yeah, he's been bringing cleaning up. So good for you, Danny Strong. Yeah, a big fan of Jonathan on the show. Anyways,
Mhm.
Jonathan then asks her if she's with Xander. Then she says, "Oh, does it look like I'm with Xander?" And then she tries to kiss him, but Xander calls her name. Jonathan gets out of there. He's a smart kid. She tells Xander that she doesn't deserve him. Xander wonders if her tears could be of revulsion, which is nice. She tells him she's very happy and very sad. And if Ferris is here, I'd say women, right? Come on. I'm very happy and very sad. What are you gonna? What's going on? Anyways, he says it's a secret, and if you told me, you'd have to kill me. And da da da. She breaks down. Then they kiss each other, and Xander reacts like something's wrong, and then Apata stops and apologizes, and we got a near comatose Xander on our hands after that.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, Giles is working on the seal. And Potta senses it and runs off. Buffy shows up, tells Willow and Potta's the mummy, and it pleases Willow quite a bit for some reason. Anyways, Buffy whisks Willow away just as Oz is about to talk to her, and he says, "Who is that girl?" For the first time. It won't be last. They find a stunned Xander backstage. They take him to the museum, which again, Potta has gotten to incredibly fast, Adelia.
Yeah.
Yeah. Giles had to drop Buffy off at the bronze and go back to the thing. Ampad is there
Yeah.
within moments. Within moments, she gets there. Giles only has that one piece to go. It's like that. It's like that cock with 1 day left to go before retirement. Something bad's gonna happen.
Mhm.
Yeah, this time Ampad grabs him, grabs the plate, and smashes it, and then grabs him by the old throat, like of course. But then Buffy also miraculously is there just in time. Again, I have no idea how far away this human history museum is, but it can't be very far because everyone's there within moments of each other. So Buffy's there, and it's fight time. And then she's told, "You're not a normal girl." Like Empata says, "You are not a normal girl." Buffy says, "You are," and then Empata gets the upper hand this time on Buffy and shuts her in the sarcophagus. She then grabs Willow. Where? Where do you think Empata would grab Willow if Willow's going to be grabbed anywhere?
Around the neck.
You guys are by this prep. Appears to try to drain her, but Xander steps in, pulls Willow away, and tells Empata that she'll have to take his life instead. Can you do that? And she says, "Yep." But unfortunately for old Empata, it may be a little too late. She's decaying away, and Buffy's gotten free. She then pulls Empata off, but her gross arms stay attached to poor Zillow's neck, and another disgusting rip sound as Empata's
It did not like
two arms
that.
two arms get torn from her torso. Buffy holds on to her limbless body for a second before dropping it, and then poor Empata, will shatter. It's the end of 500 years crumbling on the ground there, Adelia. Oh my god. Now,
Yeah.
what
I
a
have
way to
so
go.
many questions about the museum parts of this, by the way. Like, it's after hours. How are they getting in there?
Yeah.
Are there not cameras?
Nope.
Like, what are they gonna think when they just walk into the exhibit the next day and here's the mummy smashed up on the ground?
They already
Like,
have a
I have so
mummy in
many
there.
questions.
No,
I
unless
know.
someone noted the braces, kid. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
have so many questions.
Yeah. Uh, you just you say it's the Hellmouth. These things happen. They could say it's a
I
gang.
guess.
It's a gang on meth. It's a gang on meth. Anyways,
Yeah.
back
PCP
at
or whatever they were
yeah,
saying.
yeah, that's it, PCP. So, yeah, the next day at school, Xander and Buffy are talking, tells her he has the worst taste in women ever. I agree. Buffy tries to make him feel better, rolling her story as Pata's. He tells her she gave up her life. Buffy reminds him that he was there to bring him back. So, nice little sweet ending there, Adelia,
Mhm.
for the show, just the two of them. But okay, so this one, not great. Okay, well, like we're gonna, maybe not the best episode, but next week, a real banger of an episode from season 2, Reptile Boy. Next week, Adelia. I can't wait. It's gonna be better than this one. I promise. I
I
promise.
Yeah. I feel like I've seen the next episode. I'm just based off that title. I'm not 100% certain on that though, so I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, there's a couple reptilian boys and around and stuff like that. Like, I don't know if you're thinking of the fish one, maybe, but anyways,
Maybe.
yeah, we'll see. Anyways, great episode, Reptile Boy, about the dangers of sneaking out at night. Anyways, Adelia, thanks for joining us here on the council.
Of
Uh,
course.
are we going to be seeing you anywhere on the Let's Get Ready Network coming up?
Well, you can always see me on Starting 11 on the Highlights channel, the English Premier League recap show that me and Snark do together.
Mhm.
We have a lot to talk about this week. So check out that episode. That episode this week came out on Tuesday. It comes out Tuesdays at 3 p.m. Pacific every week that there is a week of Premier League action. So
Mhm.
that and always here, the Rewatchers Council when I can be, 3 p.m. Pacific Thursdays. And we just did a nostalgia crackdown episode as well, me and Josh. That's on the Entertainment Channel. So check that out now. We talked about the 2020 Star Wars Twitch tournament.
Oh boy, I remember it well. Of course, as you remember, Delia, I've never was very good at movie trivia, but maybe even worse at Star Wars trivia. So most of
Oh
the
yeah,
answers
me
are
too.
silly. All right.
Yeah, I never got any of the answers in the Star Wars trivia department right, but
Yeah,
it
I
was
have
fun
to
to
say,
watch.
I have to keep seeing if this isn't movie trivia. Like most of the stuff is from books and stuff like that. Like everyone should just have been named Greedo, and everyone would have been fine. Anyways, a- as for me, yes, of course, starting 11. And you say every match week. Well, next week we're gonna have 2 match weeks in
Oh
one.
yeah, we do. There's the midweek match week. I forgot about that.
Coming up to the end of the season, they got to get these last few games in. Let's see. Yes, of course, the show Thursdays. Love the Rewatchers Council. It's one of my favorite shows I've ever done. And then LGRN after Snark weekends with some Brazilian kid. We talk about I don't know. We'll find a topic. We'll talk about it. I think the next one we're going to be talking about is Lucasfilms. I think, and maybe it's decline. Who knows? We're going to talk Lucasfilm anyways. That'll be on YouTube this coming weekend. If you're watching this as it debuts on Thursday. What else have we got? We got the Doom show. We got the Clone
Doom
War, or
show.
was it the Star Wars?
Star Wars Battlefront.
Yeah, those ones are put off for now because I am, as you can see, in the middle of nothing. I got I can't physically play them because I just have a laptop situated in front of a map. So that's all I got. Yeah, and already the internet isn't great for me. So there you are. Yes, so those shows will be coming back. Playoff Beards is a couple of weeks away as well. We'll be doing that. I'll be doing it with Ryan Christensen. Of course, my Winnipeg Jets struggling to the playoffs. But what else is new? This is what they do every year. And they'll go in and get bounced in the first round. And I'll be very upset again. And then I'll hate hockey forever. But I'll still do the show. I'll still find something to watch about it. So, anyways, thank you all for watching us on Rewatchers Council. Next week, or next time, I suppose. It doesn't have to be next week. It's the internet. You can watch whenever. Next time, Reptile Boy. Thanks, everyone. And bye-bye.